Hey guys, so recently R. Kelly put out an interview with Storm Monroe from prison, and he voiced his opinion that Tasha K illegally obtained all the information on him through a prison official. And Tasha K recently rebutted to that particular interview. After she heard what R. Kelly had to say, Tasha K decided to respond. So she called up Natasha, Simona's company, because she's on Instagram. She calls them up, and Tasha K told them that she needs an interview with them to air her side of the story. Because R. Kelly, she believes, wants a new trial, and he's going to use the narrative that she illegally obtained information on him and he wants a new trial. So she said, that's not going to happen. Let me tell my side of the story for everybody to be on board as to what exactly happened and why he's not going to get a new trial. And the feds have already investigated his allegations about me obtaining illegal information on him. So this is what she had to say. So here's Tasha K with Natasha, Simona, breaking it down piece by piece.
R. Kelly in jail talking about me. What?
Listen, I am just I'm just a person. I'm a vessel that he trusted to put this out there. I don't want anybody in jail. I don't want anybody in trouble. I just want everybody's voice to be heard fairly. And when you reached out to me, I was like, oh.
I had to. I said, let me go to the source because, obviously you can get him on a collect call. So I said, sis, he's refused to talk to me. Everybody in his family I have contact with, but he is upset with me. And he was upset with me before I got the information. So,
right.
And I was a little bit taken aback because I was like, does he not?
I'm surprised Tasha K said that she was a little taken back because she was very instrumental in putting him behind bars. So why would she be surprised that he doesn't want to talk to her now?
Does he not know, like, everything that he was charged with? It seems like he's just hyper-focused on this one thing that he feels that he can get an appeal on.
You're talking to your guy on the phone and he's telling you all of what is happening behind bars. R. Kelly definitely he's the man is behind bars. He's not hanging out in Cabo on vacation. So his main concern were these emails, and that's something that he talked about. The content of the conversation went from he wanted to clear up the baby rumors. At the time when he called, that was something that was spinning around on the internet that Joycelyn Savage was pregnant.
And I tried to tell these people that girl did not have a baby. they were steadily believing the troll page that has been collecting donations, cash apps, and things like that.
Yeah, so he definitely was expressive on letting people know the baby is not his.
So there you have it, folks. Natasha said the baby is not R. Kelly's. So now I'm wondering where Joycelyn got this baby from.
He didn't go half on a baby. He wanted to clear up the they recently released an album. Somebody released an album. He wanted to clear that up, and he did talk about the emails, these leaked emails from the BOP officer that was then in turn shared with you.
Okay, and so that's essentially why we are here is the emails. And so congratulations on getting his word out there saying that he did not have a baby. And I'm just tired. It's like anybody can start a social media page and say that they're this person, and they can get GoFundMes, they can get cash apps. And I'm like, Joycelyn has not seen him in order to have a baby. And I know that. He's her last choice. She's the only one hanging on for dear God. Now, are they still in contact? They are, but that is not her page. And she did not have a baby. So, again, congratulations on getting that exclusive. As a victim of, within my family, uncle touched me, and at 5 years old. And I just started giving my perspective. And this is when my channel was early on. I was probably like, I want to say 60,000 followers in. And so slowly by slowly, I remember the first victim that ever came to me was it a young lady? No, it was actually the Savages. The Savages were the first to reach out because of my coverage on R. Kelly, and they liked the way that I told the story. And so they was like, hey, she's going to be the one that we give a lot of these exclusives to. And so when they started making noise on the internet, and I remember Tim Savage coming on the internet with a bat, and he was like, I want R. Kelly, nigga, meet me out here. You going to give me my fucking dollar? That shit went viral. And then, he ended up giving me a lot of video recordings and exclusive information. Joycelyn telling her teacher, her voice teacher, that R. Kelly had given her chlamydia. It's a lot of stuff. And this stuff came from Joycelyn's mouth. And so all of this started going viral. And then there was another woman that was in Alabama who had lost her house. Oh, man, I remember this. And she lost her house in a fire in Atlanta. And FEMA had moved her to Alabama to a hotel until they found somewhere else for her and her kids to go. And now R. Kelly, who happens to have always been like a partner, I believe it's with the Marriott, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of those hotel chains because he doesn't like to fly, so he travels by bus, right?
Okay.
And he had a show in Alabama, and he stayed at this hotel that this young lady was in. This video right now is sitting over like 5 million views. And she meets R. Kelly. Her boys actually meet R. Kelly. They were playing basketball with him. She had all the videos and everything. And then when he was done playing basketball, he came to sit with her on the bleachers and then asked her situation. And so she told him, I lost my house in a fire. Me and my kids have been living in this hotel for a few weeks now. And we're just trying to figure out how to get back on our feet, waiting on FEMA. And to make a long story short, he had propositioned her. And when he propositioned her, he said, I can give you $3,000. And then she was like, oh, yeah, how? He said, well, if you do something for me. Now, mind you, he had a whole busload of women. She sent me the videos of the women. Joycelyn was on the bus, and so was a lot of the girls that are in the Surviving R. Kelly documentaries right now. And so she was just like, I thought it was kind of weird because, he had them in like sweatsuits and they was looking down. Like she had confirmed a lot of stuff that only Tim Savage had shared with me that I put out on the internet to confirm using the hotel staff and what they saw and what she saw and a lot of things that Tim Savage was saying that was now making sense because no one was there. No one saw this. It's like, it's R. Kelly. Of course he's going to travel with a lot of women. But to make a long story short, she ends up getting in the car. He says, hey, will you give me head? It was right after he was playing basketball. She said she remembered he had stunk so bad. He had stunk so bad that she couldn't get past the smell. And he was like, you want me to pay you, right? And she was like, yeah. He said, well, Jen, just give me head. And so she ends up swallowing her pride because she's thinking he's going to give her $3,000 cash. And she gives him head. And when he's done, he comes all over, her face or whatever. And she asked for the money. He was like, well, my security going to give it to you. I got to get to a show. And then she was like, no, you need to give it to me now. He was like, I told you my security going to give it to you. So a fight ends up breaking out. She was just like, I'm going to call the police. He was like, so what you going to call the police to say? Like, that you gave out services? What are you going to tell them? So she was upset. Needless to say, he didn't give her the money. His tour bus leaves. They're going to another city. She calls me with paperwork saying that he had given her chlamydia of the mouth.
So can I ask you a question?
What's up?
I just want to ask you a question right there. Did she have any supporting documents or any proof? Is this just a story?
No, everything was supportive. Everything. She had paperwork. She had pictures. She had videos. Everything. Now, of course, specifics I can't say are all facts, but to back up everything she told me, she backed up with videos, son, hotel staff, the paperwork showing that she had gotten oral chlamydia. I had put her in contact with Tim Savage. Tim Savage said that his daughter had contracted chlamydia as well as herpes and things like that. And so it just kind of grew, and that video hit like 5 million views. And from then on, everything that we've ever dropped on R. Kelly was always with either someone that was like a direct family member, sort of like how they're doing this documentary, someone that was in a sexual relationship with him, or they had documents to back it up.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
But go ahead. Sorry about that.
So no. So from that point, that's when, aside from your personal situation that happened to you, now you're given the kind of the open leeway to take charge on this story because people are now entrusting you to get it out there.
Yeah, I was the only outlet that wasn't afraid to put out everything. Like, you know how mainstream media is. They're going to censor. They're not going to say, oh, he gave a girl oral chlamydia. They still won't even acknowledge the herpes and things like that, even though it was said in court. It was said in court in testimony after testimony. But it's just, I took a different approach than what traditional mainstream media does and still does, and it worked.
Now, when we fast forward through all of this, how your relationship with the Clary family? Okay. At one point, you did, no?
Yeah, I did. Because I think when the money got involved, their intentions changed.
Okay.
Because first it started off with, I wanted my daughter back. Asbro was very much with R. Kelly. She went with R. Kelly underage, right? She was 17. He flew her back home to graduate.
I have court documents here, though. To even what you're saying with that, there's court documents here showing that the mom was posing as her, stating that she was in fact 18 when she was asked how old she was, and she had fake IDs and things like that. Was that ever something that?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. And we did put that out there. Because from her, I don't understand why a mother would do this, but from her standpoint, she didn't want R. Kelly to not work with her daughter because she was too young.
Okay.
So she felt, from what she told me, and her husband told me, is that it was strictly about him creating a career for Azrael.
Well, I just want to say, if I can interject, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
To what you're saying with the career, I have so they have text messages here in these court documents from the phone showing the mother coercing her daughter to sleep with him, and she was actually telling her, my son-in-law is going to be older than me. You're trying to be with him right now. Let's just focus on getting you signed. And I quote, she says, well, you better get signed first, then married. The mom lets her know he's going to seduce you tonight, because she was using her phone to text back and forth with R. Kelly posing as her.
Correct.
And then, the girl says, LOL. The mom says, you have to give him a massage before he goes to bed. She says, laughing my ass off, no, I doubt it. She says, girl, you better, or he will get someone else. So I have all these text messages of the mom actually posing to be the daughter.
Guys, can you imagine? Israel was only 17 at the time, and her mother was doing all this, acting like her pimp. I mean, these parents should really be in jail. R. Kelly is not the only one who should be sitting in the penitentiary right now, okay?
And so, if he's sleeping, or if he's thinking he's corresponding with an 18-year-old, as mother, I know you're a mom, I'm a mom.
I'm a mom.
I don't have daughters, but listen, we can both agree that 18 is still young. Do you know what I'm saying? Up against however old, as long 5 years older than 18 is still, that's a big age gap because of whatever. But 18 is still consenting, if we can agree on that. So if the mom is, coercing this whole situation, posing as an 18-year-old woman, whether or not, we like it, she's legal. Is that, I mean, I don't know. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
No, that is the reason why I fell out with the Clarys, is because they came to me with a very one-sided story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they came to me, Tim Savage introduced me to the Clarys.
Okay.
Sorry. Tim Savage introduced me to the Clarys. And so their stories were very similar. And of course, a mother comes to me and says, well, I took her to an R. Kelly concert to help her to get over a breakup that she had went through, and she was suicidal. And so they ended up meeting R. Kelly and exchanging numbers. And then the mother leaves out a very, very, I'm talking about just, I can't even fathom a mom soliciting like her daughter to a grown man. It's and they left that part out, and that was the reason why I probably did like 2 to maybe 3 exposés on the Savages and the Clarys, because both of them came from R. Kelly took my daughter, he took my daughter, but you left out that you negotiated, you sold your daughter. Okay. So was this your turn? Absolutely. Was this your turning point where you just you cut them off, and when you shifted from that, how did that make you feel? Feeling like you entrusted them to give you this information. You were a child victim. How did this make you feel? Finding out you were bamboozled of such a story of its magnitude. Oh man, I would say it was devastating because it was young Black girls, right? And I was a young Black girl at one point, and my family swept under the rug my uncle, me at 5 years old, like literally broke my hymen, right? And we're in court, and we're going through. It took me back to that place. We're going through trial, and my grandfather at the time is the head sheriff in our town. And he made a deal with the judge, because he was found guilty, my uncle, that he would just make him leave town and never to return around me. But just please don't send him to jail, because he's somewhat young. He was 19 at the time. I was 5. And this man was penetrating me, giving me oral, making me give him oral and things like that. So it took me back to that place. And when I called the Savages and when I called the Clarys to let them know what I had, I said, it's one thing to come and give a story, right? And you support that story, but you leave out like these. I think they knew. I don't think they ever thought that people would find out. They did what they did. And I think they least expected it, that I would be the one to out them about it. Because you were building, or you had I don't think they saw it coming. I think they thought that I was like a pawn, right? Because it wasn't just them I was dealing with. I was dealing with a lot of other victims and things like that. But they thought that, hey, I'm building this relationship with this blogger who's helping to garner a lot of attention to bring the public, since a lot of mainstream won't touch it, but leaving out very, very key details, and you soliciting your own child for services that help benefit you financially. With the Clarys, I believe it was like a t-shirt business of some shit, like some graphics or something they wanted to sell, and plus try to leverage Azrael, who could really sing, a record deal. And then the Savages, I think it was like lingerie or something, or and a music deal for Joycelyn. But to say that that R. Kelly kind of acted on his own and pursued and kept their daughters, when in fact it was the mothers that, because Jonjolyn Savage, Joycelyn Savage's mother, was doing the same thing. And I can't confirm this, but it was told to me by a very, very trusted source that Jonjolyn actually had sexual relations with R. Kelly. Oh, wow. I can only speak on the legalities of the paperwork that I had. I know that's not, because they weren't involved in this particular part heavy, because Joycelyn is still very much with R. Kelly. Like, she's the one that communicates with him now. But yeah, like that, they tried to have me arrested when I got the Savages and the Clarys. Went down to Gwinnett County Police Department to stop me from releasing the information that I had on them that showed that they sold their daughters to R. Kelly.
Well, even with that, I know you had mentioned about the concert that she was at. Right. I have even the disclosure here, the terms and conditions that, it says you have to be mature, you have to be 18 or older. If anyone under that age has to be with a consenting adult. And so just looking at all this, and again, I personally can and will only speak on the paperwork, the legalities of it, if that makes sense. And so they obviously knew what they were doing, and that's that here. Yeah. So you have to be 18 years of age. All of that is right here. So I don't quite understand how that worked out.
So at this point, folks, Tasha K is kind of running the interview. Although she's the one who asked for the interview. But I thought Natasha came with notes to ask specific questions. Because remember, R. Kelly reached out to her team. So she really was on R. Kelly's team and not Tasha K. She just, since Tasha K reached out to her, she just figured she was going to give her an interview because that's what Tasha K wanted, to clear her name. But she really was in R. Kelly's camp. But I felt as though she did not really ask a lot of the questions that I wanted to hear. So from his jail cell, R. Kelly was accusing Tasha K of buying information from the prison official. And that's how she became privy to all his personal information. And she just wanted to clear the record. That's why she decided to give the interview to Natasha.
And see, this is how I'll save that for the end. I'll save this part for the end. So go ahead, ask your questions.
No,
I'll tie it all in.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So there's that. But as far as the BOP officer is concerned with the emails, how did that relationship and communication even begin for you to be the source of this person? Because from what I was told directly from Robert, this BOP officer accessed the emails from the jail system, from the jail communications, got it from the emails, sent it to her Gmail, and then gave it to you. There was 60, let me see here. There was about 60 officers who accessed that. They were authorized. There were 60 officers authorized within the BOP agency to use or to have access to this. But this one in particular that shared the emails with you was out of Wisconsin, that literally had nothing to do with the trial at all, and she accessed these emails 153 times and shared it to you. What can you please tell me, like, what was that relationship between you and her, and was there a barter? How did that go about?
The BOP officer didn't know that it was a BOP officer. I received an email from an anonymous source that said, "Hey, I have access to the phone calls and the records, and sent some." So I'm looking at it and I'm like, damn, like, this is commissary. This is like,
so this is official.
Emails.
So you knew,
like,
whatever
this is
email you got.
Listen, I put it out. I literally was like, damn, here you go. Like, I literally put it out. And it's still public on my channel. There's a link. Goes to what I received. So what I received, I put directly out. Of course, I omitted, like, of course, because there were documents that were like scanned in. So I didn't ask. If it's official, listen, I put it out. I literally was like, damn, here you go. Like, I literally put it out. And it's still public on my channel. There's a link that goes to what I received. So what I received, I put directly out. Of course, I omitted, like, of course, because there were documents that were like scanned in. So I didn't ask. If it's official, I don't need to go into where it's coming from. That's around you, because guess what? They gonna tell me shit that you ain't gonna tell me, because there's always a political motive, or a brand motive behind it. So no, I wasn't worried about it. Didn't lose sleep over it. I was 6 months pregnant when they launched the investigation, and the feds that charged him in his RICO case put me under subpoena to turn over all of the sources that I had so that they could use it to try against him. And I was like, absolutely not. If I give you my sources, what business would I have? And so my criminal defense attorneys who deal with cases like this, the same ones who I used in my Cardi B case, they have gotten me out of a lot of shit legally, right? That people were trying, feds and the Justice Department, police departments, the Savages and the Clarys, running down to the police department to put warrants out on me for putting out information that exposed them because they were getting checks and clout from surviving R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? As long as they can keep this alive and keep their daughter with R. Kelly and keep the interviews coming, and when they hired PR agents, as long as they could keep that coming, if Tasha K would have dropped a recording of Tim Savage, which I did after we got the warrant lifted, because if I would have said his name, I would have gone to jail. So they use tactics like that where they'll put like a restraining order on you, and they've done it to me. And if I violate that restraining order, I go to jail. So once it was off, I was able to freely just tell the story. And once I let loose, I slaughtered their asses. You ain't seen the Savages since. You ain't seen the Clarys since. Not like that, though. Not like that. You ain't seen. They used to be on this internet heavy until I put out them receipts.
Wow.
But go ahead.
So now this BOP officer, she contacts you. She gives you all this stuff. You're blown away. You do your show. I was able to catch, a couple of your shows talking about, the contact that you have that gave you, because you did say on the show, you got a contact over at the Cook County, whatever, and they gave you stuff.
Oh yes.
At any point of all of this, though, hold on, let me just get this to stand up properly. At any point of all this, were you afraid? Like, were you nervous? Were you afraid? Did you feel like, how did you feel?
I don't know. When you come from where I come from, real gangsters move in silence. Okay?
When it comes to, so we've got the BOP officer. When you found out that person who gave you all of this information essentially retired, how did you feel? Like, what, did she stop contacting you? Was there a conversation? Was it just the emails and that was it?
Her and I did find out it was her. We never had conversations. It was only through email.
Okay.
Everything that we had discussed is the Justice Department has. Like, and they saw, like, I was contacted. And here's the thing, too. She wasn't the only person that contacted me. I literally said this the other day. I said, if they would have arrested this person, they would have had to arrest everybody else that read his emails. When R. Kelly went to jail, everybody was listening to his shit. And do you know how bad that would have made the Bureau of Prisons look? For them to have to reprimand hundreds of officers across different states? Because this has been a practice that's ongoing. This is not just an isolated situation with R. Kelly. They listen to every inmate's call. That's why when someone gets arrested, my dad worked in the Bureau of Prisons 30 years, and they receive the files, and they go and they do the work, especially if it's a celebrity coming in. They all gather to see what it is, what have they done, right? Bill Cosby went into the prison that my dad had just retired out of. So he's like, I'm sure they look that up. They look it up. If you've touched a child, they know it. And that's when these get in there, and they really have to figure out how they're going to, keep them safe, because they know once it gets to the inmates, there's going to be a problem for them. And so everybody, that would have to take them dismembering the Bureau of Prisons as a whole with this one R. Kelly situation. Was it? I wouldn't even say was it. No, it wasn't, because this is it's culture. It's the media.
So guys, you heard it. The woman who passed on the information to Tasha K., the prison official. She retired. How convenient, right? But they could have still dragged her into court, wherever she is in retirement. But Tasha K. said that she was fully investigated and her case, the investigation, was dropped because they found that she had done no wrong. She did not pay anyone. She did not invite anyone on her show. She did not reach out to this prison official and offer her a bribe. So they had to, the Department of Investigation had to drop her case as a result. So guys, during the R. Kelly trial, we didn't even know all this was going on. That Tasha was actually investigated by the feds. If she had paid anybody or solicit information from the BOP official who had retired and was working in the penitentiary where R. Kelly was, if she had paid that woman 1 cent, Tasha K would have went to jail for bribery. And we did not know this was happening. She was pregnant at the time. She said she was pregnant. So she was going through a lot. So she really handles herself well under pressure. Now I can understand why she was so strong in the Cardi B's case. Why she did not buckle. And she was so arrogant because she's used to that type of pressure. In any event, guys, drop your comments. Let me know how you feel concerning this matter. And you can check out Tasha K's interview, the full interview, if you guys would like. I'm over and out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and to this video. Thank you for watching.